This is ABTV, Animal Bites Television.
So it's pretty cool. We actually walked in on baby snakes.
Babies!
we sat here, right, Mary, for like an hour just watching this mom.
The first one was out when we got here, but then all the rest, we got to see all the rest we want, so it's pretty incredible.
And one thing I wanted to do, Mary, is check this out. Well, first off, Mama's going to be pretty upset. So we'll try to keep Mama happy in a way. Here, Mary, you're going to get goopy. How is that?
Baby? Oh my goodness.
Isn't that cool? I mean, that's as fresh of babies as you'll ever get. I mean, these are literally minutes old. It was pretty awesome, right? We got to see them poking their heads out of their egg sacs.
Their first breath.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
So cool.
How cool. I mean, you're like my lucky charm here or something like that, because I told you, I've only seen a live birth twice in my whole breeding career. So to see it, you know, the first time you're, I mean, within 5 minutes of being here.
I'm going to have really high expectations every time I go out now. I'm going to be like, why are the snakes giving birth right now? Like, that's what I'm used to, right?
What kind of place is this? There's no babies being born? What? No, we planned this for you. I mean, literally, I had a talk with her last night, and I said, do not have babies
until...
You're
going to wait, hold out until Mary's here.
So it's, I'm sorry for getting you all goopy here with your...
He's still, like, in his sack. Like, his head is out, and there's a little bit of his body out. But the rest of him, he's having his 5 more minutes. He doesn't want to wake up. He doesn't want to get out of bed.
Well, let's go ahead and collect these guys here and see how many we got. I mean, I just can't even explain how geeked out I am right now. I mean,
amazing.
You know, it's like...
This is, like, the best first day.
Well, it's all downhill after this, trust me. I'm going to pull this baby out. This is literally the youngest baby snake I've ever held in my entire life. This thing is literally 5 seconds old. I have never, ever held a snake that's this young before, that was born live anyways. Sometimes on the egg you may see him pop out, but that's pretty cool, huh? I know you're going to get goopy and bloody. Well, there you go.
Count the babies.
All right, so babies, we got 2, we got 3. All right. Last one.
15 babies.
What do you guys think? 15 babies. How awesome is that? Good job, Mama. So guys, I'm pretty excited today. I have some awesome company in town. Of course, this is Mary. She's known as SUPERMARYFACE on YouTube. Has some really cool videos of all kinds of stuff, from gaming to cosplay. And most recently, you're kind of interested in reptiles.
Yeah, well, I've been interested in reptiles for my entire life. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to have snakes. And my dad used to take me to the reptile park down where I lived all the time, like every second weekend, and it was fantastic. But I could never have a reptile as a pet while I was living at home, and I also kind of don't think that you should have such high commitment pets when you're moving around a bunch. And I'm Australian, and I've now been living in the US for a couple of years, and so I finally was able to actually get my first snake about a year ago.
And we're going to put all of the links to some of her cool reptile videos, and of course her channels and everything else down in the description, so make sure to check it out. But until now, we're just going to look around and check out some cool snakes and see what a badass you are.
Yeah.
All right? I'll just show you a few animals that I really, really like. This happens to be an albino Honduran milk snake, and these are, of course, the colubrid snakes that are, you know, more North American. Well, they're all over the place. Even in Australia, there's colubrid snakes, but the ones that we work with here are predominantly North American. The albino Honduran milk snake is kind of cool. We were the first one in the U.S. to produce them, which was pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
So, and of course, they're one of the bigger colubrids. So these guys will get, you know, sometimes 7 or 8 foot and pretty wide bodied, so it's really cool. This is a male, so he's a little bit smaller in stays, but definitely cool. So, but I know you're more of a python chick, so but I know you love all snakes. And as a matter of fact, I think you said one of your favorite snakes isn't a python, and it's a pretty gnarly, venomous one, right?
Yeah, I really like red belly black snakes, which you know, it's an Australian snake, so of course I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
But they're just really, really awesome. They're super shy, but they're also incredibly venomous, and they keep all the other like more aggressive kind of snakes like brown snakes and king browns out of your backyard when you're living in Australia. So whenever we had a red belly black in our yard, it was always this kind of like time for celebration because they're so cool. Whereas in comparison to having a brown snake in your yard, then you're like, oh, better actually have someone come and safely remove that to a different area.
Fortunately, there's a lot of anti-venom now that really, you know, very
Not
few
many people die in Australia from snake bites at all.
Right.
If you look up the albino red belly blacks, that is stunning.
Oh
so
my
incredibly
gosh.
gorgeous.
It is crazy. And speaking of stunning, here's another albino milk snake here, but this is actually what they call a T-positive albino. So essentially what it is they have that more brown or purple look to them rather than white. And what it is that there's different levels of pigment in melanin, which is the black pigment, and one of them is called tyrosine, and this is actually still has the tyrosine, giving it that purple or brownish look, whereas a true albino or a true amelanistic lacking, everything will be white.
Yes.
So so it's kind of a neat snake, but
Yeah,
this is a really weird animal too because it's called allelic. So if you breed this to an albino, half the babies come out T-positive and half the babies come out normal albino, which is weird because normally things have to be heterozygous and have a whole thing. So I think he likes you.
That's sweet. He's cute. He looks like candy corn.
Take a look at this little bugger here. This is actually the same thing, just with high orange
wow.
instead of, you know, so it's a tangerine version.
That is a beautiful little baby.
I know. So tell me, what was it that caused you to love snakes? I mean, you said your whole life you've kind of been into them.
Yeah. Well, I was more into insects when I was younger, and yeah, insects, and I was really, really into sharks, and I guess I've just kind of always really liked animals. I've really liked being outside, and my dad and my mum as well, they always really encouraged that in me, which was awesome. So, I don't know, I don't think there really was like one defining moment, or like none of my friends really had snakes or anything, but yeah, I mean, they've always been so cool and so interesting, like just the things that you can learn about them is just so fantastic. But I like all animals too. I like the dogs and the bunnies and all that kind of stuff as well, but there's something really special about snakes. So.
Yeah, and you said something that was interesting, is that you really love bugs, and I've seen that since you've been here. You have been like just obsessed with every spider web and every daddy long leg. As a matter of fact, I've seen you like, you know, replace daddy long legs into another area so that they don't get hurt, which I think is really, really cool, by the way. So what's all that about?
I mean, I just think they're awesome. Like, really, there are so many cool bugs that are just, they're so misunderstood in the same way that snakes are misunderstood, and they'll get a really bad rap, and people like will not want to touch them, or there's all like the joke about if there's a spider in your house you need to burn your house down, and I just think that is the most ridiculous overreaction in the world. Like, a spider or a snake or anything, their intent isn't ever to hurt you. They're just looking after themselves. And yeah, like, some can be more territorial than others, and some can be a little bit more dangerous than others. But you can't live your life thinking that all of these things around you are out to get you, because that's just not how it is. It's not true.
Yeah, even with like my fear of spiders, which I'm getting a lot better at, I've never thought to like kill something, you know? I mean, that's crazy to me. Like, it's like I still can see them as a beautiful animal, and you know, so I guess that's what I'm all about, and you're doing a great job now kind of educating people, and it's pretty inspiring to see like your Instagram feed or you know, wherever I see the, you know, Twitter, and I see the comments of people that probably didn't really like snakes or didn't know, but then they thought, oh my gosh, Mary likes them, they are cool, right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people, especially young girls. I have a lot of young girls that watch my stuff, and they're so freaking awesome, and a lot of them had never even thought about, you know, snake keeping, or like that snakes can have different personalities, or that they can be more used to people, and so they've just had a fear that's been taught to them. Like, they've been taught that they need to be scared of these stuff, so that when they're actually seeing someone that they, you know, relate to and admire, saying like, no, they're so cool, and you know, they see my ball python Ben, who is like the sweetest, most beautiful little snake in the world, and that helps so many people, especially young girls, to be like, wow, no, he's actually really, really cool, and it sparks their own interest. And I always say, don't ever come to me for like important advice, housekeeping advice. They need to do their own research, which I think is so essential. And also, it's so interesting. Yeah. People should never want to stop learning. Like, there's just so much new stuff. I'm learning new stuff all the time. This weekend already, I've learned so much stuff. So like, Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's great, you know, and I, you know, my life is all about educating people and showing people just how beautiful snakes like this. This is actually a gray-banded king snake. These guys are from the Texas area, and there's a whole bunch of localities of these gray bands, but this one is actually called a Blair's phase, and it's basically a more generic locality, but really beautiful. I love the really black head and the really.
They got such little bug eyes.
I know, but I love these guys a lot. I've been working with them my whole life. I've got a snake that I love to death that I have to show you. And pretty much everyone that comes to visit me, I always show these off because I think they're just so cool. And that, of course, are these little buggers here. These are rhino rat snakes.
They are so gorgeous. I love the scales on these things. They look like dragons.
And they're not biters at all. They're just, you know, they're just real curious. And when they shed, literally the shed skin will be this little long appendage, which is really cool. And then, like you said, this beautiful, you know, pattern in the scale.
The coloring is gorgeous, and they've got the call them dragon scales when they have like the distinct difference between their scales. Is really cool.
Yeah, no, they're really neat animals. But I know you're, again, more of a python type of person, and I have some pretty cool ball pythons and some other pythons I'd really like to show you. So what do you say we move on?
Definitely.
So Mary, how awesome was that experience to see baby snakes like that born?
That is absolutely amazing. Like, that is something that most people don't ever get to see in their entire lifetime. And I was tweeting whilst it was happening, and so many people are being like, I'm so confused. I thought all snakes came from eggs. And it's like, it's moments like these that are actually making people want to research more about snakes. And like, people who had no interest in them before are now like, this is something happening that I didn't ever knew happened. And
what's crazy is, you know, I was saying you're my good luck charm because, as a matter of fact, I tweeted that because I've only seen a live birth twice. All right, on to pythons. I know you love ball pythons.
Yes.
And that was the first snake that you had when you came over. Right now, so Ben has become pretty famous.
Yeah, I reckon he's more popular than I am at this stage.
And it's a pastel ivory?
Yes.
Pastel ivory. Okay, so we were talking about some options, breeding options, and I know you said you really like the stripes. This is actually a super stripe, but it's a pastel super stripe.
Nice.
Okay, so in actuality, Ben, who's a pastel ivory, being bred to even just a normal specter, can produce animals just like this. You know, it's a lilac, much like I was talking about the T positive Nelsons. It's a lilac. So when you breed an ivory to a specter, half the babies come out super stripe, and then of course half the babies would be pastel. So on odds 1 in 3 would come out pastel super stripe. So that would be a really cool option.
That's something that I would definitely want to do so much more research into before I'd even consider it. I think there are so many people that are out there breeding snakes already, and like there are fantastic breeders like you guys, but then there's also a lot of backyard breeders that didn't really do a lot of research, and so they now have snakes that need good homes to go to. So if it was something that I did end up doing, I would have to make sure that every single one of those babies either had a good home to go to, or that I could give them to a breeder who could then make sure they went to good homes and led good lives up until that point. So
yeah, but that being said, I think you would absolutely
But it is cool to know all the possible options for babies, because I mean, that's one of the things that I really love about ball pythons is just how many different snakes that you can, well, colors and morphs of snakes that you can get.
It is truly amazing. This is actually what they call a candino, which is a candy bred to an albino. And again, this is kind of weird. There's not a lot of allelic animals in snakes, but almost everyone I've showed you is allelic. So this is another allelic animal. So this is exactly the same as that T positive milk snake I showed, like the same mutation. This would be like, the candy would be like the T positive, and the albino would be the other one. So basically it's the exact same mutation. So it's pretty cool, but in ball pythons instead of milk snakes. Because I know you like the banana ball pythons.
I do. I really like the pretty eyes. Like the morphs that end up having really fantastically bright eyes is something that's really cool as well. So the bananas just have dark eyes. Oh, they're kind of lighter than what Ben's are.
Yep, they're a little bit lighter. They sure are. And again, certain animals like mutations in bananas will have even lighter eyes as well. So it just depends. And then of course, you know, those black freckles make them really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, these are one of the most popular ones that the people who comment on my videos say, I've been looking at morphs and I feel like I'm going to get a banana one. You usually only see pictures of the babies, so this is what it's going to look like when it's bigger.
Exactly.
And I mean,
Here's
they're
one
still so gorgeous. I mean, you can see a difference in the coloration. They're all going to be a little bit different. but they're still so beautiful when they're grown up. That's one of my favorite things is adult ball pythons. Like you all the time see the babies and they're so cute, they're so bright, they're so colorful, but I mean, they're so cool as adults, and I really wish that more people showed them when they're grown up like this too, because they're awesome animals.
You know, this is an interesting snake here. This is actually a super lorry ball python.
Oh man, this is pretty.
Yeah, really cool pattern, huh?
Yeah.
And when these are born, they're almost like blue and white. So this is almost like a blackish blue, and this is solid white.
Oh wow.
So they are unbelievably gorgeous as babies, and
So
what's
it's
really
like similar to the axanthics then.
exactly they're very axanthic-y, and again when they get bigger, they brown out much like the axanthics do. But the interesting story about this one, believe it or not, was that we were bringing in a shipment from Africa, and Lori picked out two ball pythons that she thought were rather interesting, and they were really mild. I mean, they almost look like normals. And so the whole crew kind of made fun of the Lori balls. And then it turned out to be that it was co-dominant, and the super was really cool. So Lori got the last laugh, and then now she has a ball python named after her.
Oh, that's so cool! Oh, what a good story.
Of course, it's not all ball pythons. I mean, we have a lot of other stuff that I think is really interesting. Here, of course, I always show off my girl Maya. This is a black-tailed crebo that is actually a colubrid snake.
Gorgeous.
And she's just a doll. She's just such a nice animal, super friendly, loves people. She's much like Sunshine that I'll show you in a bit. She really seems to enjoy being around people, which is pretty awesome.
I love how it's like ombre, like the dip dye tail. It's really cool. I mean, that was a big thing in the fashion and beauty and makeup world, and so it's like, hey, that also is a snake thing.
Hey, this had it before that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about crebos too is that they'll eat almost anything. I mean, they'll eat, like we've actually fed her fish fillets before. She'll eat fish, she'll eat snakes, she'll eat frogs, she'll eat rodents. She will eat anything you offer her. And so definitely a really neat animal. And again, much more inquisitive than say a ball python.
Yeah.
You know, always moving around, always trying to find things, and so it's pretty cool. And speaking of ball pythons, you kind of had a little bit of a run-in with one recently, didn't you?
I did. I was looking at all of the different morphs, and it's one of the ones around here, actually, one of the kingspins, and freaking gorgeous snake, absolutely beautiful. And he didn't want to let go of me, and he gave me a bit of a nip, but I mean, totally worth it.
But let me tell you the story really quick. It was way better than that, because legitimately, I was in the next aisle. We were working, myself and Trevor, and she just quietly says, "Oh, Brian, this one doesn't want to let go of me." And I just thought that it was holding on to her, like just kind of hugging her, you know? I thought, oh, she must just not be able to uncoil it. It just quietly walks over to us. As a matter of fact, I was working. I go, "Yeah, just give me a second. I'll help you out." And I, not knowing that it actually had latched onto her, and it was biting her. Completely calm, which is the way you should act when a snake bites you, and it took us a little bit of time to get it off, but
I mean, he was in there pretty deep, but you know, snakes, they don't bite wanting to hurt you.
No.
Like there's no reason to start getting upset, and I mean, it doesn't even hurt that much.
This is from your homeland.
Yes.
Of course. This is an albino carpet python.
I mean, carpet pythons are really, really cool, and they're one of the few snakes that you can actually keep as pets in Australia, because the law in Australia is that you can only keep native species as pets, which is really fantastic. You know, we're not introducing non-native species into the environment, and I mean, it sucks a little bit because, you know, my friends and fans back home can't get ball pythons or a lot of the really cool beginner snakes that we have here. But I mean, they get really cool ones like this. So there's still lots of options, even if you are just keeping Australian natives. So.
Well, that's why I say, if you're going to be in a place where you can only have natives, Australia's that place, because it is a mecca for reptiles, and not just snakes, but also, you know, all the lizards and just amazing. Even, you know, some really cool spiders. You guys don't have the tarantulas that we have, but or have available. But again, the huntsmans and the redbacks, and I mean, there's still a lot of cool stuff down there. Funnel webs, like anyone want to keep those, but that's right up your alley. As a matter of fact, I think you said that the huntsmans are your favorites, right? Yeah,
huntsmans are my favorite out of the spiders. They're a really big spider, but they're so good with people. Like, they're not at all aggressive. They never ever want to hurt anyone. They're actually kind of like babies and they'll just run away from you. And but they gallop, they move really fast, and they don't make webs, which is really awesome to have them in your home because you don't need to worry about cobwebs, and they eat the spiders that do make the webs. So if you don't want to spend your time cleaning cobwebs off your ceiling, just get a huntsman and it will just sit there and clean up for you. And they're just, goodness, they're so cute. And also for a lot of people that are scared of spiders, they'll prefer the big fluffy spiders rather than the more spindly looking ones, because, you know, people tend to correlate fur or hair with nice and comforting, so they get very large and they're very fluffy, and they're just really cool. They're really pretty, and they're not going to hurt anyone. No, you would like I mean, you've spent some time with huntsmen. You told me a story.
I have, yes, I have.
The only scary thing about them is how quickly they can move.
Yeah, they're really fast.
So,
let me show you another animal from your native land that I think is really beautiful. And that, of course, is a Woma python.
And I'm definitely thinking that this is one of my new favorites.
Oh, look at that.
So beautiful. I love the stripes, and their size is perfect, totally manageable for one person. And they've just got these big old buggy looking eyes because of those facial markings, which are just, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and again, it's like you said, if you want to step up from a ball python, but you don't want something really large, this is a great option. It really is. And they stay apartment size, super docile, as you can see, and just really cool animals.
I don't know, I'm heavily considering this would be my third baby, but I would need to convince my fiance first, because he's a little bit more timid around snakes. It took him a little while before he even warmed up to Ben.
Let's move on to a slightly larger snake, and I think this one might be a little bit too big for your fiance, possibly. Let's go check that out.
Let's try and do this.
So Sunshine is really like kind of a mascot for me. You know, she's like, everyone that follows me kind of knows her, because much like Ben is for you, she's my Ben, you know, and she's just a great animal. Of course, she's an albino Burmese python. And she's, you know, mid-size. Again, she's a little more lean and mean than, say, a big fat Burmese python, but she's just great, and she's great around people. And as you can see, she just absolutely loves being handled and played with. So, you know, Mary, I can't thank you enough for coming to visit us, and I want everyone that, you know, probably a lot of our viewers already are familiar with your stuff, but tell me a little bit about, you know, number one, where we can find you, which I know is going to be really easy for people, and what is your mission statement? I mean, what's your channel about?
Well, my channel is a huge hodgepodge of all different stuff. I started off doing a bunch of haul videos because I moved here from Australia with one suitcase, and I needed to get myself a closet full of clothes. So I started off doing hauls, and I would order a bunch of clothing and then review them, review the websites, and then I got into my cosplay stuff a bit more. I started doing makeup tutorials, and I am no makeup artist. I suck at makeup, but I do try my best because it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And so it's just been this big mix of things, and then I started doing vlogs, and I haven't really been on YouTube for that long, but there is a bunch of different stuff on my channel, and I've been really trying to find what it is that I really want to do in YouTube or on YouTube. And my main message to people is always about, like, I say stay safe at the end of all of my videos, and I try and encourage kindness and just positivity and just people just being nice to one another in general, because, you know, it's amazing how many people are negative, boring old sods on the internet who just get angry whenever anyone is out having fun or doing something with their life or making a decision that maybe they don't agree with. You don't always have to agree with people in order to be respectful and kind towards them as well. So, you know, that's what I try and do. You're
the ray of sunshine on YouTube, which is much needed at times, but it's cool because, like you said, there's a nice cross section between, like you said, cosplay, fashion, makeup, gaming, now some reptile stuff and wildlife stuff. So, and I think it's really nice when people can get to know you as a person. You know, you don't have to box yourself into one category.
Yeah, because like I'm a multifaceted human being with multiple interests, and I'm not a caricature or like a little cardboard cutout of a person. There are lots of different things that I love, and like I love cosplay and I love reptiles, and like, you know, you can like multiple things. You don't need to stereotype yourself.
So what is, first off, let's go back to where do we find you?
Okay, you can find me on YouTube, obviously. I make YouTube videos as SUPERMARYFACE, and it's the same on Twitch. I've been trying to live stream every single weekday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, we've actually been starting early most of the days because I get so excited to go up and do it, so I'm starting at 9 a.m. most days.
Wow.
And so that's fantastic. We're playing The Sims at the moment, but I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all of those things, and it's SUPERMARYFACE all over, but on some places it's super without the E because someone stole my username. But we'll have them linked below. That will be the easiest way for you guys.
We'll put everything down in the description for sure. It's cool. So what, and this is always a question I think about for myself, so I'm going to ask you, put you on the spot here. What is the next step for Mary? Like, what is it that you want to do? What do you continue to want to achieve?
I mean, I am definitely going to continue doing my daily live streams on Twitch, and I really, really just want to work more with animals. And like, I know that that's probably not something that's going to happen immediately for me. It's going to be something that takes time, but you know, that's been my goal since I was really young, and there's not an animal that I've met that I haven't liked, even if they don't like me. And I just really think it would be such an amazing thing to do. So,
and I don't know if you guys are seeing, it's just so cool. Like, I mean, literally Sunshine spent the last like 5 minutes just with, Mary had her head right in her hand, and it's so awesome. Okay, so I'm glad that we had a chance to hang out with my audience. We're going to do some cool stuff this week. We're going to actually head to an alligator place. We're going to head to a zoo, and I'll be vlogging all about that stuff, so you can check it out in the vlog, and of course you'll see more of it on Snake Bites. But let's get back to something you said a little earlier. You said you did makeup for fun.
Yeah.
You kind of liked it, enjoyed it, and stuff like that. So what do you think about... I think Trevor's over there working. What do you think about making him up into some cosplay character?
I mean, I will try my best. I cannot guarantee that it will be good, nor that he will enjoy the experience.
Well, I tell you what, Mary, first off, that was some sick makeup you did on Trevor. He looked beautiful, if that's at all possible.
Well, I did actually try. So there were a lot of things that we didn't have, like powder and whatever. We don't need to go into the details. You saw it. It was great.
It was a great time. And you're a complete badass when it comes to animals. Thank you so much for hanging out. We still have a couple more adventures to go, but make sure to follow all of her social media stuff and her YouTube channel. Link in the description for sure. And as always, I'm Facebooking and tweeting my way through things. So make sure to follow me over at SnakeBytesTV or on Instagram at SnakeBytes.tv. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites.
Stay safe.
Do me a favor, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button for not only Snake Bites, but other awesome animal videos. And if you want to watch more Snake Bites videos, go ahead and click the link right here and just watch away.